Medieval rulers created these in panic. They were supposed to be temporary. They're still controlling your life today. Welcome to the hidden history of panic-driven rules. Throughout the Middle Ages, when crisis struck, rulers didn't have time to think carefully. They needed solutions immediately, so they made rules in a hurry, promising they'd be temporary, swearing they'd end once the emergency passed. But something strange happened. These panic-made rules never went away, they just got quieter. Today, we're uncovering the medieval panic decisions that became permanent law, the rushed emergency solutions that shaped the modern world, and the temporary measures that forgot they were supposed to end. England, 1215. King John is in crisis. Rebellious barons surround him. The kingdom teeters on civil war. He needs legitimacy fast. Someone suggests a radical idea: let ordinary people judge criminal cases, not trained lawyers, not royal officials, just 12 random men from the community. It's desperate, it's unprecedented, it makes no sense long term, but it might prevent civil war right now. So John agrees. Trial by jury becomes law. It's clearly temporary, an emergency measure until proper legal systems can be developed. Those first juries are disasters. 12 confused farmers trying to understand complex legal cases. They have no training, no procedures, no idea what they're doing. They deliberate in chaos and reach verdicts by exhausted compromise. But here's the remarkable part: it works well enough. The barons accept it, the crisis passes, and then nobody bothers to replace it. 1300 arrives, still 12 jurors. 1500, still 12 jurors. 1700, 12 jurors crossing the Atlantic to America. 1789, enshrined in the Constitution as a sacred right. 2025, still 12 jurors in every courthouse. The panic decision became the foundation of justice. The temporary emergency became constitutional law. Walk into any courtroom today and count the jurors. 12. The exact number chosen in panic 810 years ago. Never changed, never questioned. Now considered the only legitimate way to determine guilt or innocence in a democracy. France, 1188. Urgent news arrives, Jerusalem has fallen. King Philip II needs to fund a crusade immediately. But medieval kings don't have standing armies or permanent treasuries. They need money now. His advisors propose something revolutionary and terrifying: a universal tax, 10% of everyone's wealth. Nobles, peasants, even clergy, everyone pays. This violates every principle of feudal government. Taxation is supposed to be negotiated, irregular, specific. But this is an emergency. The decree goes out. The Saladin tithe temporary until Jerusalem is recovered. Tax collectors spread across France. The money pours in. The crusade is funded within months. The emergency is solved. Mission accomplished. But the collectors keep collecting. New justifications appear. We need it for coastal defense now. We need it for maintaining roads. We need it for royal administration. Each sounds reasonable. Each is supposedly temporary. But the tax never stops. By 1300, nobody remembers it was temporary. By 1400, it's just how government works. Today, 8 centuries later, you file income tax returns descended directly from Philip's panic decision. The temporary crusade tax evolved into permanent government revenue worldwide. Every April, you're responding to a medieval emergency that ended 837 years ago. Venice, 1348. Black Death has arrived. People are dying in streets. The city faces annihilation. Venetian officials meet in emergency session. Someone proposes an unprecedented idea: force ships to wait offshore for 40 days before docking. Quarantagiorni in Italian. Quarantine, it's never been tried. Nobody knows if it will work. It will devastate trade. Merchants will be ruined. But half the city might die without action. The panic decision is made. Implement quarantine immediately. The first ships anchor in the lagoon, crews watching the city from a distance, waiting 40 days. Some crews develop plague and die at anchor. Others stay healthy and are allowed to dock. Works. Venice suffers less than other cities. But the plague returns. 1361, 1369, 1374, 1383. Each time, quarantine helps. Between outbreaks, officials debate ending it. But they always decide to maintain it, just in case. The emergency measure becomes standard procedure. Venice builds permanent quarantine islands, Lazaretto Vecchio in 1423, stone hospitals and warehouses for a temporary emergency. These islands operate for 5 centuries. Fast forward to 2020. COVID-19 spreads globally. What do governments do? Quarantine, isolation, waiting periods. The same panic decision from 1348, still the best solution we have 672 years later. The word itself, quarantine, still means 40 days in Italian, even though we shortened it to 14. Medieval Venice's panic decision became permanent global health policy. Bologna, 1088. European learning is collapsing. Ancient knowledge is being lost. Texts are crumbling. Monasteries can't preserve everything alone. This is a civilizational emergency. Scholars gather in Bologna and create something new, a studium generale, a place where all subjects are studied. They need to organize it quickly, so they create simple temporary ranks: baccalaureus for beginners, magister for advanced students, doctor for masters. These are just convenient labels, never meant to be permanent. Paris copies the system in 1150, Oxford in 1167, Cambridge in 1209. The emergency structure spreads because it works. By 1300, these temporary ranks are standard across Europe. By 1500, they're unquestioned tradition. Today, nearly 1,000 years later, you earn bachelor's, master's, and doctor degrees. The exact same three-tier system, created in panic to organize emergency learning. Your graduation ceremony follows protocols designed when civilization feared it might lose the ability to read. The panic-created hierarchy became permanent global education standard. Every diploma you've earned carries a title, invented as a temporary convenience during a crisis. England, 1066. William has conquered at Hastings, but Saxon rebels won't accept Norman rule. They meet at night, plot in darkness, strike from shadows. William's solution is brutally simple: eliminate darkness. He issues emergency orders. Every evening at 8 o'clock, all fires must be covered, all candles extinguished. Couvre-feu, cover the fire. Curfew, it's extreme, disruptive, surely temporary, just until Saxon resistance ends, but decades pass. Norman rule becomes secure. Saxons and Normans intermarry. The original emergency completely resolves, yet the curfew continues. Why? Because a new emergency emerged: fire. Medieval towns, packed with timber and thatch, lived in terror of flames. One spark could destroy entire neighborhoods. The conquest emergency became a fire emergency. The panic rule found a new panic to justify itself. By 1200, nobody remembers William's conquest. The bell rings nightly for a completely different emergency. Some English towns rang curfew bells into the 1800s, 7 centuries after the original panic decision. England, 1295. Edward I is desperate. He's fighting expensive wars in Scotland and France simultaneously. He needs money urgently, but nobles refuse to pay unless they have a say in how it's spent. Edward makes a panic decision. Fine, they can have a say. He calls an emergency assembly, not just nobles and clergy, but representatives from towns and counties too. Let them debate, then tax them. It's obviously temporary, just to solve this immediate crisis. The first meeting is chaos. 3 different classes who have never met as equals, no procedures, constant arguments. It barely functions, but it functions enough. The taxes get approved, the wars get funded, crisis solved. Then Edward needs more money. He calls another emergency assembly, then another. By 1400, these emergency sessions are regular. By 1500, they're essential. By 1700, Parliament claims supreme power over the king. Edward's panic assembly became the foundation of democracy. It crossed the Atlantic, became Congress, became the model for representative government worldwide. Every time you vote, you're participating in Edward's emergency funding solution from 730 years ago. Medieval Europe, 1200s. Craft knowledge is dying. Master craftsmen die without passing on their skills. Ancient techniques vanish, quality collapses. The guilds panic and create emergency training, bind young boys to masters for 7 years, learn by doing, preserve knowledge through direct transmission. It's crude but necessary. Surely better education methods will emerge. They did. Universities spread, books multiply, literacy rises, technical schools open, YouTube appears. The emergency that created apprenticeship has been completely solved. Yet today, electricians, plumbers, carpenters still serve multi-year apprenticeships under masters. The terminology is explicitly medieval: apprentice, journeyman, master. The panic solution from 1200 proved so effective that 8 centuries of educational innovation couldn't improve on it. Medieval villages, 1300s. Social emergency, people are isolated, there's nowhere to gather. Quick solution, let someone's home serve as a public alehouse. Hang a symbol outside since people can't raid, a red lion, white horse, crossed keys. It's makeshift, clearly temporary until proper public buildings can be constructed. Centuries pass, public squares are built, town halls appear, literacy becomes universal, the emergency is completely solved. Yet pubs remain, still serving their emergency function, still hanging those pictorial signs for populations that learned to read 400 years ago. The panic solution became beloved tradition, preserved not because it's needed, but because it's familiar. Now examine the pattern. Every rule we've explored was created in panic during emergencies. None were carefully designed, all were explicitly temporary, yet all became permanent. Why? Because ending something requires more effort than continuing it. Because people forget the original emergency. Because new emergencies arise and old solutions get repurposed. Because institutions develop constituencies who benefit from their continuation. The panic decision becomes established procedure. The emergency measure becomes inherited tradition. The temporary rule becomes permanent law, so embedded in society that removing it seems more radical than creating it was. Consider what this means for today. You live under rules created in panic by people who have been dead for centuries. You're judged by juries designed in civil war crisis. You pay taxes created for a crusade. You follow quarantine protocols from the Black Death. You earn degrees invented when civilization feared collapse. You vote in assemblies created for war funding. These weren't carefully planned systems. They were desperate emergency measures that worked just well enough to continue, then continued long enough to seem permanent, then became so permanent that we forgot they were ever temporary. The medieval world didn't plan our institutions. It panicked them into existence, and we inherited the panic, preserved in law, enforced by tradition, never questioning why we do things this way because we've done them this way for so long that the panic that created them has been completely forgotten. Every permanent rule was once a temporary panic decision. Every tradition was once an improvisation. Every "this is how it's always been" began with "we need a solution right now." The rulers promised these rules were temporary. That was 800 years ago. The panic passed, the rules became quiet, and they never left. Welcome to the medieval panic that became your daily life.